What's up, Multiplexers? Welcome to another edition of Around the League with Nico, Multiplex Entertainment's weekly recap show where we talk about everything that happened around the league, hence the name. I'm your host, the Cosmic Nightfury, Nico Suave Regoli, and I'm joined by a fantastic panel today as we discuss two Fandom Fight matches that happened this week that have big circumstances regarding Title Week next week. First, let me introduce our guests. First, we have... He is the Hulk, Tim Brzakala. He is challenging. He's one of the three teams challenging for the Fandom Fight Team Championship next week. How are you today, sir?
I'm doing good. Thank you, Nico, for inviting me on to the show.
Very happy to have you. It's your first time here, so
yeah.
I hope I make you comfy. That came out very wrong. I am stumbling on my own words.
You're making me very comfy, Nico.
Okay. Next, we have someone who is challenging for both the singles and teams championship next week. He is the Grand Admiral, Kees Cornelisse. How are you today, sir?
I am doing well. For the record, I'm not going to be in character for this episode. I'm just going to be me, and I'm going to be honest, and I'm not going to be a dick about things for a change. Yeah, I'm excited for both title matches next week. Both should be great. The fact that I'm in them, that's just an honor, and that I'm very happy that I'm there. So I can't wait to see how that all pans out.
Awesome. And finally, he is the former Full Metal Trivia Singles and TV Throwdown champion turned movie Trivia Schmoedown live competitor, Chance, the Cobra Ellison. How are you today, sir?
I'm doing good. You know, people always say you gotta, ascend wherever you want to ascend, but remember where you came from. And this is not really where I came from, but it's something I did back in the day. So I'm happy to help.
All right. So this is actually very beneficial because we have one representative from the Arkham Knights. We have one representative from Nuclear Options / Dedicated to Art. I hope you just officially change the name next season.
That's up to Caleb.
Yeah, Caleb, fix that. And Chance, because you were a part of the Wild Bunch, you can speak on behalf of Paul Oyama and Lucas Schilbach.
I guess that's what I'm doing. Okay.
All right, so let's get it. Oh, and by the way, Paul Oyama is in the chat. He's asking, who's that bum on the right? That is your buddy Chance.
Well, it depends. Who's on the right?
Well, on the YouTube screen, it is you. In this chat room, you're on my very far left. So there's.
I was asked to represent Paul. I don't know why, but I'll do it.
And by the way, I think Doman and Michael Campbell are also in the chat. Good to see you guys. Now, getting into the official business for today, let's get to our first match of the discussion, which is Tim Brzakala. You finally made your singles debut. It was actually supposed to happen, I think, sooner and against a different opponent. It was supposed to be Dominic Rizzi, and then things happened with Thomas Eanes. So Jeremy Adams ended up playing Dominic Rizzi, and he went on this lengthy stint of dominance that ended up in the second match we're going to talk about later on today. But instead, you played one of your rivals in the team match next week, Christopher Skywalker Doman, in, I think, his first singles match in any league in many months. And
since April.
Yes. A very long exile for one Jedi with a piano. So basically just to break down how that match played out. Round one, you were leading. You had him with a score of 7-3, and then in round two, you spun MCU. You finished off your turn with a different score now of 11-6. Then Chris spun Trek. He finished off the round, evening the score 12-12. And then round three, it was just back and forth, and it came down to like the very last 2 or 3 questions, I'd say. Doman beats you with a score of 17-11. So first, just you having been in that match, give me your thought process as to everything that went on in your head round by round.
Sure. Round one was great. 7-3, like you said. I was feeling really good in round one, and there were a couple questions too where they came to me just really last minute, like I think it was the Middle Earth question, like what does Balin compare Bilbo's sword to, and I was like, oh, it's either a butter knife or a letter opener. Doman said butter knife, I said letter opener, I got it right. So it was just a few instances like that where it was kind of luck of the draw, but like it worked in my favor. I also got a James Bond question right, which was completely a Makuga move. I just guessed Moonraker. It was the first Bond movie that came to mind. I guessed it and I got it right. So round one, I felt really good afterwards. And then round two, I spun MCU, and that is what I thought was a strength of mine. So I was feeling really, really good about that. And then I just I started to lose it in round two, especially with the first question in round two was it was the tagline question. What movie is the tagline of like Thunder Will Rain, I think. And so me being all confident after killing it in round one, I'm like, oh, it's Thor, and it's Thor Ragnarok, actually. So that was heartbreaking, and Doman knew it. So to his credit, he was on it, and he got the steals. He stole another question from me that was about where do they fight Crossbones at the beginning of Civil War. I just didn't know the answer. So yeah, to his credit, he was totally on it, and I'm going to have to restudy MCU a bit. And then I think, so round two was definitely the deciding factor, because had I gotten those questions right, I think we would have been talking about a different ending here for sure.
Speaking as someone who has had to answer the question of how many days did Bruce Banner go without an accident in The Incredible Hulk? So I understand your pain.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, you've started off your singles career on a losing note, but still, you're getting a lot of high praise. The chat is praising you right now.
Well, the other thing I will, and not to like toot my horn or anything, but something I was really proud of in that match was my accuracy was better than Doman's. It was only by one question. I got 12 out of 20. He got 11 out of 20. That's not something to like, really like hang your head about. I feel like I'm pretty proud of that. So when I come back in singles, I feel like I know what I need to work on in singles for sure to come back at.
Is there anyone you want to face in your return?
There's some things a brewing right now. I can say that there's some stuff happening. I think I know where I'm going next. I know who I want to face. I don't know if it's safe to say right now, but let's just say me and some people are talking, and there's some stuff that's coming up for sure.
Very interesting. Very interesting. So now, Kees Cornelisse, on behalf of Christopher Doman, how do you feel he did in terms of the match?
I don't know what the hell he did in round one. Scoring 3 out of 10, that's just not good. And I know he can score a lot more in round one. He should score a lot more because, if he does the same crap in our title match, that's not going to be very beneficial for us. But I think, he was lucky in round two a little bit. Like he knows track. It's one of his strengths. And then you get round three, and he just played that very well. I have taught him a little bit about how to play round three, because there's a strategy involved there to make sure that you get the win.
It's called math.
It is, but you need to know how to play that round, and he did. But the thing is, Tim played really well, and I'm a little scared about what he can do in our team championship. I think he and Robert have been a great team, and I think they're even the number one contender. Like we're not even the favorite anymore, as we were in the previous matches. So, I know that Tim is a great competitor, and he'll come back with a vengeance next year, I assume. Chris, you're a little bit lucky, but he knows his shit, and the fact that he's 1-0, I'm happy with that. And I'm interested if he can make it to 0-3, and continue. So.
Now, he said in his post-match interview that that if you win next week, he wants to eventually make a run for the title and challenge you. What are your thoughts on that? A little bit of nuclear option dedicated to Art Civil War.
Look, that will be a very friendly match, regardless of what I'll say during. if it eventually happens. But I do think that at one point we're supposed to face off because I know he's a great competitor. I know I'm a great competitor. And if the records line up and Caleb wants it, he'll pit us against each other. I know Chris. I know his weaknesses, but he also knows my weaknesses. So that'll be a very interesting match to see how that plays out if it eventually happens. But look, at the moment, I'm 4-0. He's 1-0. Just get some wins, Chris. Just get some wins first, and then we'll talk.
All right, Chance, he's looking pretty antsy. He wants to say some stuff. So, Chance, you being sort of a neutral party in this matter, how did you feel watching that match, and what were your thoughts on the competitors?
Yeah, it was a great match. It's funny, after round 1 and seeing that Tim was going to be on the panel, I thought, oh yeah, no, Tim's going to smoke him. But after that round 2, yeah, no, that was really interesting. That was really fun to watch. Yeah, I mean, round 2, it's a betting game. I mean, Case talking about strategy, a strategy that I myself perfected in this league, me knocking out my opponent by betting nothing in certain rounds. Check out the Kale Coho match for examples.
Heyo.
But actually, speaking of Kale Coho, the problem with both these matches I found myself seeing. I'm constantly distracted by that fucking strip of peach fuzz he calls a mustache. Caleb, shave that shit. Them respect it. You don't need to not shave anymore. I know that's like, 6 months no shaving for you, but come on, razor that shit. But aside from that, yeah, match was great. Tim, hats off to you, man. I mean, anybody can hit a batch with your luck, and I think I would definitely love to see you come back.
Thanks.
Now, Chance, you, despite the fact that you're up in heaven right now, you still keep track of what goes on down here on planet Earth. So my question to you is, for both Tim and Doman, who would you like to see them face next?
What's Tim's 0-1, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
Ooh, man, there's a bunch of good players. There's a bunch of good matches I can think of in my mind, but as far as are there any other notable, super notable 0-1s that I'm not thinking of?
0-1s I can't think of at the moment, but I can think of a couple 1-1s.
Actually, I would like to see Tim versus Caleb. Now that I think about it, because I think he's 2-3 or some shit like that.
He is, yeah.
Caleb is facing me on my charity week, so yeah.
Is that not exhibition? That's league play.
Yes, that is league play.
Oh,
well then, forget what I just said. I mean, anybody who's just 0-1 or has a negative record, I would love to see Tim, because good thing about being 0-1 is you get to get a little tune-up game facing somebody who's on a negative downslide. So anybody that you put Tim up against, I'd love to see it. And as far as my good old friend Mr. Doman, there are points where I wish I could just come back down from the heavens just to wreck some shop, but I don't get that luxury anymore. So Doman, just advice I can give you as someone who was poised to take the fandom belt. By the way, Case, Robert, say your prayers that I was ascended before I could do that. Watch your back, because you never know who's going to come for you next.
All right. So, if any, I'm going to go to the chat real quick and see what's going on. Chris Doman is in the chat, and first off, he says, "What's up, partner?" Because Case is on here on the stream. There's a conversation going on between him and Brian Fernandez. Michael Campbell says the match was a lot closer than the final score of 17-11. He really enjoyed that match. Really enjoyed that match. Paul Ayama, he said, yeah, big swing on those last couple questions. Jonathan Peck, hi, guys. And then Doman says, if he doesn't get those steals in round 2, it's a completely different match. Otherwise, Tim definitely should have won. And there's even a suggestion of, Tim, you should Michael Campbell says he wants to see you face Kane McMillan next, which I think that would be a very interesting matchup for sure.
Yeah. I mean,
he came very close against Jeremy the other day, so that could be interesting.
Very close indeed.
I'd be down. Let's make it happen, Caleb.
All right. Yeah, Caleb, So let's see if we can make that a thing. Kane McMillan versus Tim Brzakala. I'd like to see that very much. All right. Does anyone else have any closing thoughts on that match before we move on to the next one?
I mean, it's good for Delman for getting another win. I mean, we already saw how hard he crashed and burned in our animated match back in the the past time. But it was congratulations, Delman.
All right. And so now we move on to the C Block finals of the Fandom Fight Teams Championship Tournament. It's the last match as our second chance finishers, the Silver Shamrocks, Lucas Shieldbach, and the Movie Warzone Singles and Full Metal Trivia Teams champion Paulo Yama defeated the heavily favored usual suspects of Jake Marangoni and Dominic Rizzi. And, I have an analogy that I'll say right after I'm done breaking down the stats of this match. It started with an unusual Hail the Hunter graphic. Apparently that is still going on.
Discount Mike is still doing his thing in this league?
I guess so. By the way, didn't he knock you out of Multiplex? Isn't that what he said happened?
There are some extenuating circumstances around around that I'm not going to get into right now. So shut your fucking face, Nico, and get on with it.
Fair enough. Okay. So, the match started off with some very interesting banter between the two. Jake was very confident. Dominic was half muted. Paulo Yama stole Matt Patricia's face, and he and Lucas were very confused as to how they've made it this far. Also, I have no idea what that music choice was by the Silver Shamrocks, but it was very entertaining.
It's from Halloween 3.
Okay.
It's what they're named after.
I don't watch horror films.
You also don't watch films.
I have never watched that movie, but at least I know the reference.
Oh, watch the movie. The movie's fun.
Oh, yeah. Halloween 3 is pretty fun.
Yeah.
Moving on. Okay, so basically in round one, usual suspects, they took the lead as expected, but a very close lead, actually, 13-11. And then we get to the wheel round two. Usual suspects spin Worlds of DC, and their turn finishes with a score of 17-14. Silver Shamrocks then take their turn. They spin Pixar, and we're in a tie game now of 19-19. And then just some very interesting bets made back and forth that somehow propels Silver Shamrocks to the win of 24-23. They move on to face the Arkham Knights and Nuclear Option in next week's triple threat match for the inaugural Fandom Fight Teams Championship. And Chance, I'm going to go to you first, seeing as how you and Paul Yama were faction mates. So it's very appropriate for you to be here to sort of represent them. What were your thoughts on the match?
Well, let me just be clear. They have their own thing going. They have their manager, Michael Campbell. I was brought in as an outside consultant to consult the game, and something I love about Silver Shamrocks is I love their attitude. They are like the ETC, like the early days of ETC of this league,
but better.
Where they just come in, they don't give a shit, and they somehow end up winning. That's what I like by them. That's what some people need to. As people need to keep on notice. And yeah, they came in, they played great, much better than anybody, including themselves, were expecting them to. So has some big implications going forward in in the tournament in the final match.
Now, how do you think? Well, actually, we can save that for the team championship match discussion as we preview that in a few minutes. But how do you feel about Paulo Yama potentially sort of following in your footsteps and becoming just this guy who keeps hogging all the belts in all of these leagues?
Following in my footsteps?
Yeah, because you were the original person to sort of hog all the belts.
I don't think there's any better competitor to do it other than Paul. I regret that we were never able to face off because we were heading down that road anyway with the movie Warzone tournament, but I got pulled out of that before, right after I did my first match. But regardless of that, I think Paul's incredibly knowledgeable. He knows a ton of stuff, and if he can I think even he'd be impressed with himself if he got any Fandom belt at all. But yeah, I don't think there's any better competitors to have multiple belts than Paul Oyama.
I'm going to move on to Kees now. Kees, before we went on the air, I sort of described the journey of the Silver Shamrocks in this tournament to you as we're both South Park fans, and one of my favorite episodes is when the kids of South Park, they're playing baseball, they make it all the way to the championship despite the fact that they want to stop playing because they hate the sport of baseball, but they keep on winning, so they have to keep on playing. And then, Lucas even said so at the end of the match. No, I don't want to, because he knew the answer, but he didn't want to say the right answer because it meant he would have to play another match. But they said it anyway, and now they're moving on to the championship match. So, just what's your thoughts on the journey of the Silver Shamrocks here?
Well, they've had an interesting journey because they're the only team in this final who have a loss, and that was against me, funnily enough. But the thing is, they took us to the last question when I was still a team with Alex, of course. And ever since, they've just been really dominant in this league. They show that they know their stuff. I think they're just underselling themselves, like playing mind games, I guess, just to make people confused, like, why do they not want to be here? But they really do know their fandom. I know Lucas knows a couple of fandom categories really well. Same with Paul. There's a reason that, look, Paul's one of the very few competitors who actually knows Kaiju. And if he'll probably pick that as a strength in the final. And that will mean that probably we are screwed because, I don't know Kaiju. Chris doesn't really know Kaiju. And Robert and Tim, I don't think either. Because
Nope.
that it's like the one category that everyone wants gone from this league. But for the moment, it's still in the league. And he'll probably choose it as a strength. So, there will be questions from it in the title match. And, Lucas and Paul are a good team. I do think that Dominic is a little bit flustered after I gave him the first loss. And that resulted in a second. Sorry, Dominic. But yeah, that happened. But Dominic and Jake are still a really good team. I'm pretty sure they're gonna come back next year and might make a run for the title. We'll see about that. But as much as Paul and Lucas are underselling themselves, I do think they'll give us a hell of a fight in that final. So yeah, that's it.
I had something I was going to say, and I forgot what it was. So, Tim, your thoughts on the match?
Yeah, I thought it was a really good match. I really did. There were a couple things that bothered me. Like, if I hear one more what is the name of this character question in round 1 or 2, I'm going to blow my brains out. But besides that, I thought the match was really, really good. Silver Shamrocks, like Kees and Chance have said, I love their attitude of just we're here. We don't want to be here, but we're here. I love that about them. But they're right, though, that they also, I think Lucas especially, is trying to get in people's heads. And I have a very strong feeling he's going to get in my head because I get very competitive and I get mad at myself if I'm not playing up to snuff. And even at the one point in the match where he was like, the answer was yeah, there you go. The answer was Captain America, the Winter Soldier, and he wrote, everybody said Captain America, the Winter Soldier, and he goes, oh, it's the Winter Soldier. I don't know, if not you fucking nerds have to write Captain America. That's something that would piss me off. So I'm excited to face them next week. Of the two teams we're facing, me and Robert are facing next week. They're the ones I'm a little less worried about. But yeah, the match was really, really good. The match was fun to watch. They're entertaining to watch. So it was a really good match.
Yeah. So there's some stuff in the chat. I'll bring that up in just a second. But we've talked more so about the winners, but we're kind of sleeping a little bit on. Kees kind of hammered it a little bit, but what happened with Jake and Dominic here?
Well, as I said, I think Dom, it was pretty clear. Dom lost them the match. Is one bet, I think. And I really do think that he's been a little bit flustered. Like he was used to scoring a lot of points, doing really well. Already, you saw their round 2; it wasn't that good, and then their round 3, they just made a stupid mistake that lost them the match. For some reason, I think he maybe just the same as Lucas. Like he wanted to just be done with it and not want to compete anymore. I don't know. It's difficult to say, but he kind of lost his touch after his triple threat #1 contender match, it seems.
So Paul is in the chat, and he's saying that Dom had actually driven like 5 hours in the snow before the taping of that match. So if that's the truth, first off, impressive that I don't know how anyone would. I mean, I live in the East Coast, and just driving 1 hour in the snow is scary, let alone 5 hours.
Alex is giving us a good strategy to Chris, myself, Paul, and Lucas. Here's a strategy: just annoy the shit out of Tim.
Yep, that's the way to do it. That's the way to go.
Wait, are we talking about this Tim, or are we talking about Tim Smith, the guy who has the power to ban you all from the match?
No, this Tim, because I don't want to be banned from the match.
Chance, I'm curious to hear what you have to say. I don't know I can't remember if you've faced Jake or Dominic in the past at all, but you're aware of how good they are. So, what do you think happened with them?
I'm trying to remember if I ever faced Jake or Dominic. I don't think I ever faced either, being honest. But
no, you haven't.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
Jake lost to Robert in the tournament, and Dom started after.
Yeah. But either way, there's one instance I saw where Dominic said an answer too quickly and Jake knew it and they didn't consult. Look, let me just tell you, like, consulting with your partner is important. You need to be on the same page. Like, even if you think you know it, consult anyways. So, yeah, I mean, I think it's just like it's little mistakes. Tiny mistakes can be the difference between winning and losing a match. So, I think if Jake and Dom keep that in mind in the future, they'll have that. They'll have a very successful season. I can tell you that Dom he'll never make that mistake again, where he doesn't consult Jake on an answer before blurring it out. But yeah, I mean, both those guys mentally, very knowledgeable, mentally talented, and I think they'll definitely be back in the future.
There's a very interesting conversation going on in the chat, started by Alex Warden, of just like annoy all Tims, which is fantastic. It is what it is for Jake and Dominic, but I can certainly say that Dominic, he obviously has another chance to redeem himself in the new year when he takes on Jen Kemp, my stablemate, and Jake Marangoni. He's not entirely done for the year. He still has an opportunity to get some redemption in Movie Warzone when he takes on Eli McKeag yet again to face for a #1 contender spot to face Paul Oyama. So there's still a chance for the usual suspects to hold gold by the end of the year. Will it happen? Who knows? But now that we've discussed sort of the matches that have happened this week, we now look forward to the future. Title week. First, we have the team championship triple threat match. It's going to be Robert Parker, the singles champion, and Tim Brzakala of Arkham Knights taking on Kees Cornelisse and Chris Doman of Nuclear Option / Dedicated to Art. Again, still pulling for that name change. Taking on the Movie Warzone and Full Metal Teams champion Paul Oyama and Lucas Schilbach of Silver Shamrocks for the inaugural Fandom Fight Teams Championship. Now, first off, is there anything you guys can tell me about how the championship rounds are going to work at all? Because that'll obviously play a factor in the match itself.
Yeah.
It's the same format as you saw in the singles title match with Alex and Robert. We're going to have 5 rounds, where rounds 1, 2, and 5 are 1, 2, and 3. And for rounds 3 and 4, you have, the kind of IMDb round, and for 4, the deep cuts round. It's the same format in that regard. The only difference, of course, is now one person will answer the 2-pointer and the other will answer the 4, and you can confer on the 6. But other than that, it's pretty much the same. So. much of a difference.
Now, I have heard from some behind-the-scenes sources that in terms of conferring, you guys are using. Yeah. So, Tim, you want to go into detail about that?
Yeah, so I believe this originated from my wonderful partner, Robert. And so what we're going to be doing to confer is we're going to be in 2 calls. So we'll have a Google Hangout like this with everybody in the call. And then we're going to have Skype calls where the teams are in a call, and also in the call will be somebody on the desk. So I believe Caleb will be in a call with me and Robert, just to make sure there's no cheating going on while we're conferring. So we'll have to like mute off in Google Hangouts so we can talk in Skype, mute back or unmute in Google Hangouts to say our answer. It also helps so that we just don't give away answers, because it's very easy in teams in this format. If we're conferring about something and we say, well, the answer is either A or B, and then we go, okay, let's go B, and then it's wrong, the other team is just like, oh, well, then it's A, and they get the question right. So this is going to be a way to confer easier for teams, especially in a triple threat match. And it'll help, keep the volume to a minimum, I think, as well in certain rounds where stealing is available. So I think that's the big reason is why, just for steals. And it'll be exciting. We're going to test it, or we have tested it out. So we'll see how it goes during the actual match next week. All
right. So I hope that now hearing this, I hope that it continues into 2019, that particular format, because having been in the first Fandom Fight Teams match and having to deal with Jim and Caleb talking nonstop, being able to just like keep them on silent while Matthew and I discussed would have made a great difference. So I hope we continue that moving forward, and I hope it plays out well in the actual title match itself. Chance, your thoughts? You obviously, again, having connections with the Silver Shamrocks. We've heard from one of the Arkham Knights. We've heard from one of Nuclear Options. So just like, who do you think is going to win this triple threat match?
Well, I'd be remiss if I went against, my clients, the Silver Shamrocks, of course. And I will say this, the Silver Shamrocks are not going to employ any fancy, bullshit strategy that you guys are doing. I mean, that's nice. That's cute. They don't need strategy. You know why? Because these guys are immaculate. It is impossible for them to lose, except for that one time that was a mathematical error. I do not hold that against them. And here's the thing. Are they most invested in this match? No. What I will say is Paul Oyama has competed in more 5-round matches than anybody in this match, possibly everybody in this match combined. And that experience is going to help him in this match, and that's the reason Silver Shamrock should come out on top.
All right. Now, Case, plead your case, no pun intended, as to why Nuclear Option will walk out of there as the first ever Fandom Fight Teams champions.
Yeah, about that. I think I've proved that I am a really good Fandom competitor in this year. I already beat the Silver Shamrocks with Alex, and I carried us throughout round 2. So, okay, I did give them their first loss. They are the only team with a loss, and they're going to lose again. Simple as that. Because since then, I think with Chris, that might have been an even better teammate for me. So, like, we're just a really strong team. We really know each other well. We talk all the time, of course, because we have a YouTube channel together, and we just know the strengths and weaknesses of each other, and we know how to make sure that we can win that match. Now, Robert and Tim will be our biggest competition. At least that's what I think. Because, well, Tim was close to beating Chris, and Robert is the champion. And I'm facing him, of course, but Robert is really good, and I'm taking nothing away from him. So I do think they'll give us the fight of a lifetime. But I know that we're good. I know that I have a good strategy. I've studied on the 5-round format and like figured out how to make sure that you win that. So I think, based off the fact that I know a lot and I know and I have a good strategy, that we should win. But it will be a really close matchup until the last question, I think.
And Tim, since your manager Cody is not here, I want
all the shit talking for him.
I want to hear from you. Why are the Arkham Knights going to be the first ever Fandom Fight Teams champions? And then after which, I need to bring something up from the previous match that I forgot to mention. But please say why are you going to win that team match?
Well, I'm not gonna sit here and play we're the best team and we're gonna kill all of you. Like it's I'm not gonna do that. What I will say though is that Robert is the singles champ. I think I've proven that while I'm not as good of a player as Robert necessarily, I know my shit. And I think that combined is we're just a good team. So I think it's really anybody's game, but I think Robert being that singles being that singles champion right now. There we go. Yeah, there we go. I think that we have the knowledge to take them on. I think that Silver Shamrocks, while they are a great team, while they're really, really good, they don't want to be there. I have a feeling that's going to show in this match, that they're just going to come out not really caring what happens, and that might be to their detriment. Again, really great team. And then same with Kees and Chris. I think they're both really, really great. They're both good competitors, but I think Chris is just getting a little bit too cocky there, and he might I think he's relying on his teammate a little too much. So I think that it's going to end up being a Kees show, and Chris isn't really going to come to play. And that's just my personal opinion. Still a great team, but I think it's going to be mostly Kees. And then that just all that put together leaves me and Robert. So I think that the two of us together are the team to beat for sure.
All right. Let me just say, let me add to that, the fact that both of you are sleeping on Silver Shamrocks, that's why you're going to lose.
Well, I wouldn't say I'm sleeping on them. They're a really good team. I'm afraid of them.
And you may as well have taken NyQuil. You're sleeping so hard on the Silver Shamrocks.
In fairness to Tim, your own team is kind of sleeping on themselves. So,
and they're going to surprise themselves yet again when they take these titles.
Mm-hmm. Well, we'll see.
But
and all these teams should be thankful. Well, two of these teams and 1.5 of one should be thankful that Star Command never happened. So there's that.
Yes, Star Command, the team that could have been
the greatest team that never was.
Yes. But getting back to the thing I forgot. So we mentioned that Silver Shamrocks, they defeated the usual suspects to gain the spot in this team championship match. That's how the C Block Finals match ended. But that's not how the video ended, because right after Caleb signed off, we were treated to a phone call with Jake Marangoni, and on the other end was apparently Ryan Permison. So, and we hear Jake say, "How do you know that?" Whatever that was, we didn't hear it, but we hear Jake say, "How do you know that?" And then he pledges allegiance and hails the hunter. So what do you think happened on that phone call? And we'll start with Tim, seeing as how you are kind of the closest to Alpha Alliance with your faction being a member of it. So yeah.
Well, I think I'm not really sure what's going on. I have my theories. I think that Ryan has, he said some interesting things in the past. He will probably continue to say interesting things in the future. I don't know what to think right now, to be honest. I think that everybody just needs to look out for whatever he's cooking up, because it's probably not going to be great, whatever he's doing right now, especially if he's making shady phone calls behind the scenes.
I just looked at the chat from Alex Warden. Ryan has proof Jake isn't really Australian. Oh, that's great. That's great. Kees, what do you think happened on that phone call? And if you want to go into THON mode for it, I will allow you to do so.
Nah, maybe. Here's my issue with Ryan Permison. He talks so much shit all the time, everywhere. He comments. He shows up fucking everywhere. What is his record again? Oh, he is 0-2. What the fuck have you done in this league? You've only lost. Okay, you had one win in teams, and then you lost again. I mean, what? Who do you think you are? You're no one. You have not won anything really, and why do you even consider yourself to be a thing? Like, just, I'm so done with him just showing up everywhere and trying to be relevant while he is, like, combined over the two fandom leagues, he is 1-3. Like, just get out of here already. Let it over to the guys who actually have a positive record, who actually have won several matches, in both divisions. Because I'm just getting done with this guy. So I don't really care what he's doing. Whatever he's doing, he's probably just gonna lose more because that's what he's been doing. So I'm not gonna bother with him because I'm not even gonna face him anytime soon. I mean, I'm 4-0 and 3-0, so a combined record of 7-0. Yeah, there's no way that I'm gonna face him anytime soon. So I don't really care, really. Sorry.
Chance, we'll get to you in a minute, but I just looked in the chat again, and another thing from Alex Warden. He says, "Let's put it this way: 2019, want, the hunter, hashtag the hunt ends." So,
the hunt fucking started? Hashtags.
I don't know if the hunt has officially started. I mean, Kane is still locked in a basement somewhere, I think. So, Chance, what do you think happened on that phone call?
Look, I guess Ryan's taking notes from my partner, who, by the way, is going to be the Intergeek champion at Spectacular 3. Put money on that.
Nah. Not gonna happen.
Just you wait, Cheap. Just you wait.
Hey, I'm
but either way, look, he's just pulling an unsettled version of a shtick that my boy Mike had perfected. But bottom line, Ryan and Jake, if you're watching this, you should. Don't pair with Ryan. He's a loser. That's all he knows. All he does is lose, and you're better than that. We are all better than. Okay, so maybe Hunter, but we are all better than that. Why do you think it's called Hail the Hunter? Hunter? But he's clearly got something. Maybe he's found evidence that Tim actually loves The Last Jedi, and he's been lying to everybody for that, sweet, I hate Last Jedi money from whoever's funding that campaign. But, I guess we'll find out.
Okay. So now I guess it's time we move into discussion of the singles championship match. Robert Parker, who Chance has called a paper champ on the stream now.
Because he is.
He will be defending his championship, which actually isn't even made out of paper because it's invisible and just sort of, I guess it is paper because it's just written down right now. But yeah, Robert Parker will be defending his title against Kees Cornelisse, who is here at the desk. So Kees, why are you going to be the new Fandom Fight singles champion?
Nobody thinks I will be. So I really am just tired of making this. I mean, everyone thought I was going to lose against Eli. I TKO'd him. Everyone was convinced that Dom would win the triple threat match, and I was dead last in those polls. No one thought I would win the number one contender match. And I did. I TKO'd both of them, both Dom and Jen. Yes, Dom had a bad game, but I had a really good game. And I think I've shown in those matches that I've played recently that I'm one of the best competitors, if not the best. So, look, Robert is a really good competitor. I'm definitely not underestimating him, and it will be very important for me to keep up with his score, but I think I can do that. I've shown that. I know my shit. I know my fandom. I have a good strategy. I focused on how to play the 5-round format. I've watched in the match with that he played against Alex a couple of times to make sure that I know how to do rounds 3 and 4, because of course that will be new to me. I think that I know how to play the game, and I know, of course, I've shown that I know my shit besides Star Wars, because I've only had Star Wars once in round 2. For the rest, I've had other categories that I also dominated in. So, yeah, we're both 4-0. I think we're both really good competitors, but at the end, I'm just going to win. And that's how it's going to be.
Now, Tim, tell us and the viewers at home, why is your brother-in-law, Robert the Hobbit Parker, going to retain his title?
I mean, I don't even know why we're talking about this. Because, like I said before, when we were talking about teams, I was trying to be the nice guy. I'm not going to be the nice guy here. I mean, this just isn't even a question. I mean, Robert, as much as Chance, he's the paper champ. No, he's the champ. He's a great champ. He knows his knowledge. It is insane. Now, like you pointed out, Robert is my brother-in-law, so we go to many family functions together. We have met in person, unlike a lot of people in this league. We have we know each other very, very well, and the amount of knowledge that just spews out of his mouth on a day-to-day basis is disgusting. So I'm not gonna lie, I've only seen a couple of Kees matches. I haven't seen a lot of them, but he has shown impressive knowledge. There's no doubt about it. But when it comes to one-on-one, there's no me to back up Robert. There's no Chris to back up Kees. This is a no question Robert's winning this match.
Alex is throwing a lot of shade in the chat, just every which way, and it's hilarious and distracting, but hilarious. Chance, you being the neutral party, who do you think is going to walk out with the Fandom Fight Singles Championship on Friday?
I mean, the championship could only be so earned at this point, just because, you know, the person who would have been the champion, you know, had other plans.
You would not have been.
Oh no! Everyone said that. No one said I was going to go anywhere in the Cobra Trivia tournament. Look where I ended up. You know, Robert Parker, he's a you know, speaking for this league, taking myself out of the equation, Robert Parker, he's a real Mike Kalinowski in that he is the rightful Phantom champion. Which, by the way, he will be at the end of Spectacular 3, guaranteed. Bottom line, yeah, Kees has momentum on his side, which that can be a really, really big, really important factor. Robert has the knowledge, so seeing the two of these guys go head to head, I mean, not to say Kees doesn't have the knowledge. Kees absolutely does. He eats, sleeps, and breathes fandom, which is why he doesn't know shit about regular movies. But at the end of the day, I think it's... I am slightly leaning towards Robert to defend his belt. I'm going Robert Parker.
All right. And
everyone is.
What were you going to say, Kees?
I'm just saying that everyone is leaning towards Robert, and sure, I don't care.
Hey, take that, make that your fuel, buddy.
Exactly.
You know, there's one factor for both of these matches that we have not discussed yet, and that is Cody Newberry at the desk. So, like,
Mr. Blowhard himself, who can't even answer questions in his own strength. Jesus Christ.
But yeah, I just want to hear from all three of you how you see Cody Newberry playing a factor in that match. And since Cody's going to be in your corner, you first.
Well, Cody is the sleeper here because he will be able to get in our players' heads. I know I talked about before how people can get in my head really easily, and that's a bad thing for me, but that is Cody's specialty. He is really, really good at shit talking, and he's going to be there in our corner in both in the teams match and in the singles match. And I think at the end of the day, that's just going to be it's going to help us a lot because they're just not going to be able to handle what he's throwing down.
Kees.
Look, Cody has been talking so much shit all the time saying that there is no feasible chance that anyone would beat Robert in either singles or teams. And as you said, I'm using it as fuel for the fire. Just, fuel it, because I want to shut him up so badly. I just want to make sure that he stops talking the way he has been. Like, your client, you're like, Robert's a nice guy, Tim's a nice guy, Cody's just talking so much shit, and I'm like, you know what? I just want to shut you up. It's not that I really want to shut either Tim or Robert up, because they don't say that many bad things to us. It's just Cody, and I just want that done. So it's gonna fuel me it's gonna make sure that I want to beat Robert twice, to make sure that Cody just finally shuts his fucking mouth.
And Chance, you're representing one Boston masshole, so how is it going to feel having another one representing another team at the desk?
It's going to feel a little odd. But this is on the desk for the singles match, right?
Cody is there for both.
Oh, so first of all, I'm calling favoritism, because having a manager at the desk is illogical and showcases that Multiplex clearly is paving the way for Arkham Knights. So,
he's not at the desk. He's just there for the interviews.
He is there for the pre.
He's not at the desk.
Pre and post interview, and
he's not asking questions.
Okay,
yeah, during the match.
Okay, so
no questions.
You need to learn how to phrase things better, and I'm talking to your superiors about getting a better interviewer. So,
how dare you, sir?
Either way. Look, my guys, Silver Shamrock, they don't need a manager. You know why? Because they can talk just as much on their own, which is why, I don't even need to be here. I mean, they could just, their hubris could represent them for themselves right here, but I'm here anyways. But yeah, they don't need a manager. They don't need an interview. They don't need a manager at all. They can get by on their own strength, on their own vocal cords. So yeah, they're not going to be intimidated, not one bit.
Okay, I almost created controversy that was not there. So yes, just for clarification, Cody is there for pre- and post-match interviews, and maybe also to help in the event of a challenge. But yes, for the most part, he will just play a mental factor in terms of talking.
I believe cammed and mic'd off unless there's a challenge during the match.
Okay.
Now, Nico, I'm gonna send you a wrestling dictionary, because you clearly need to learn what on the desk means. And I am so that way you don't make this mistake in the future. So I don't want you to cause any controversy.
Hanging out with Mike Kalinowski and Ken Knapsack has made you a dick.
I don't know. He was always like that.
That's true. That is correct.
So, is there anything else? We've gone through all the matches that happened this week. We've gone through all the matches that are going to be happening next week, at least in Fandom Fight, because Jake has not given me a movie Warzone schedule, so I don't know if anything's being uploaded tomorrow. Is there anything else you gentlemen have on your mind that you would like to say before we close things out?
I'm just looking forward to not watching only fandom movies all the time and going through IMDb, through all the composers, directors, writers of these movies. I'm a little done with that. I just want rest. So after this week, I'll be watching normal movies, the movies that I don't really watch, as Chances pointed out earlier, and not be going through IMDb all the time and making these lists of all the composers, directors, release years, because my brain is just melting, I think.
Tim, anything you'd like to say?
Yeah, no, I'd have to agree with Case on this one. I'm excited to stop putting so much fandom pressure on my brain. As much as I love it, I love regular movies too. And so I'm looking forward to getting back to some of those. But at the same time, in all seriousness, good luck to Case in the singles match against Robert. It's going to be a very close match no matter how it goes, I have a feeling. So I'm very excited to watch that. I'm very excited against Case and Chris, and also the Silver Shamrocks. I'm really excited for that match. So it's going to be a fun week next week.
And Chance, if you have anything you'd like to say, now is the time. And also, if you'd like to cut a promo on your future opponent, Janine the Machine, heading into Brooklyn next month, go right ahead and do so.
Well, on the matches, Silver Shamrocks, they're going to be the champs. Because I mean, the reason because you're all sleeping, which is why you're not going to see them coming, which is why they're going to come in. They're going to take those titles right from under your noses, and boom, like that. You're never going to know they were there. Because you know why? Because they are immaculate, son. And as for me, my season for Schmoedown is over, so I'm spending time just watching other movies, getting ready for New York City. In case you didn't know, I will be competing as the undercard for the live event taking place on January 26th against Janine the Machine. My first match, I got a fairly rough first match in Ethan Irwin, a guy who I'm calling it right now. He's going to win that entire tournament. He's going to go on and beat John Roca for that belt, guaranteed. But now they decided to overcompensate and give me an opponent who I can just step over and get along with. Look, Janine, respect what you've done. You and I are both bred from the same cloth. The bottom line, I got more up in here than you've ever had in any of your matches. Look, I scored 18 points in a loss. That's more than you scored in any of your matches, including the ones where you've won. And I know you're going to throw like, oh, I've won a match and you haven't. I didn't get the luxury of facing Bonnie Somerville and Emma Fife for my first matches out. So I've taken on better opponents than you ever have in one match. So I don't want to hear that from you. And, bottom line is this. New York, I feel bad. I mean, I take issue. I feel bad for being a lady in front of a massive crowd. But bottom line, I'm going to come out the winner in New York, January 26th. Count on that.
Didn't she almost beat Mark Andreyko, who beat Ethan Irwin, who beat you?
Yeah, but, almost only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades, so no one gives a fuck about almost.
Janine, kick his ass. Kick his ass.
You wish.
All right, before we go off the air, some controversy regarding me that I have to address. So, I got a couple messages yesterday, and let me explain the context. As some of you may know, I've been planning out this charity stream for the week of January 21st to January 27th called the John Regoli Memorial Trivia-thon for THON. #trivia, the number 4, THON. And this past Monday, I called into Collider Live, and I hyped up the charity week some more. Thank you, Christian, for letting me do that. And I then issued a challenge to the Wildberries. Josh McCouga, he has ties to Penn State, where THON takes place. He and I are both Pittsburghers. And he sounded very, very excited and happy to at least consider doing the match. And he said, and both he and Christian sort of said they would get back to me. No one got back to me after that radio call. So me not wanting to do sort of a Christopher Woodburn style cyber stalking in private messages, I instead tried to take it publicly and do what Christian did to get Freddie Prinze Jr.'s attention and do sort of what Josh McCouga is doing right now to get the attention of Jeopardy, which is just say, hey, on Twitter, let's do this. Let's make it happen. Let's make it happen. And I kind of poked the bear a little too much to the point that Christian has apparently been telling mutual friends of ours that he's getting annoyed. So I would like to take this opportunity to apologize to both Christian Harloff and Josh McCouga for taking things I don't want to say I crossed the line of harassment, but I was definitely bordering on the line after a certain amount of times. And I apologize for that. I just wanted to make something happen. I wanted to see if I could make the impossible possible. And there's still a piece in my heart that believes that something can be worked out. So someone from there, from Collider, from the Schmoedown, please get in touch with me on like a Skype call. Let's work this out privately and civilly so we can see if we can make something happen here. If not, I'd at least like to hear it from the source that it's a no. So that's my apology to you. And I'm sorry if I got a little annoying there. It was not my intention to harass anybody. I just wanted to try and shoot for the stars, as I'm known for here, and I might have taken the wrong approach. So I hope I can be forgiven, And I hope we can move forward and we can be peaceful, and I won't get the death stare by Christian at the live event in Brooklyn, because I don't want to have an awkward conversation with him when I'm there. So if that's all, this has been Around the League, and let's get to our closing plugs. Tim Brzakala, where can the good people of the internet find you?
You can find me on Letterboxd, Stardust, Twitter, and YouTube, all at Tim Loves Movies. I do movie reviews and other stuff on the YouTube channel. And then on Letterboxd, make some fun lists. You can see what I'm watching and what I'm looking forward to watching. And then on Stardust, if you are not on Stardust, get on it. It's a great app. So follow me on all of those things at Tim Loves Movies.
Kees Cornelisse, double championship challenger for next week. Where can the good people find you?
Yeah, you can find me in 2 title matches next week. That's going to be fun. Also, you can find me on Dedicated to Art, our YouTube channel that I run with Chris. You can find me on Twitter at Dutch Movie Guy and on Facebook, Kees Cornelisse. That's it.
And hopefully I will be on one of those future episodes of Resistance Recap or Resistance Review or whatever. I don't know what the title is, but I like Star Wars Resistance, and I'd like to talk about it with you both.
Viva la Resistance.
And the Cobra, Chance Ellison. Besides Brooklyn, where can the good people find you?
Besides Brooklyn. Okay, so you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at ChanceWars_91. Check out my podcast. I have a few of them. So I have my original one, Notorious by Chance. I do my buddy Russell Howell. We upload to iTunes, Spotify, Google Casts, pretty much every major podcasting platform. Our episode on... I got some audio issues with a bunch of our episodes, but I fixed it today. And our episode on plane, trains, and automobiles is up. We're on all those platforms right now. You can go check them out. We'll be doing our episode on Creed tomorrow, so it'll probably be up then also. You can check out, speaking of Robert Parker, I also do a podcast with him, the podcast out of Cool Acronym, where it's all face and verb all the time. That uploads pretty much just whenever. I'm going to try to get on more of a schedule, but first 6 episodes are out right now. You can go check those out. And yeah, watch the Schmoedown, donate to the Patreon. Spectacular 3 is coming around, where the rightful IG champion and the rightful Star Wars champion will go and claim their belts. Of course, talking about Mike and Ken. And yeah, I mean, I'd say buy tickets to the Schmoedown live event in Brooklyn, but it's already sold out. If you're going, great. Say what's up to me. I'll see you there.
And you can find me on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube at Nico Suave Regoli. That's NicoSuaveRegoli. You can find me over at Film Nerd TV, helping out Hunter the Hitman Chambliss with Combat Zone Wrestling Trivia. I'm in the semifinals, and we just shot a bunch of matches this week as the Gold Rush tournament continues. And I also have a podcast with Hunter called The Week of Wrestling, which is very self-explanatory. And over here at Multiplex Entertainment, you can find me here. The name of the Facebook group and the YouTube channel. The Twitter is at MultiplexYT. The Instagram is Multiplex Entertainment Network. The TeePublic is just Multiplex. Bunch of awesome shirts. We can now design stuff on the back. So buy them. Buy them and support your favorite competitors. Case, I think you even have a shirt now, correct?
I do, because I won that #1 contender match.
So buy that also. Buy that also. And in terms of the scheduling here at Multiplex Entertainment, Monday is Movie Warzone, which is our general movie trivia division. Tuesday is TV Throwdown, both singles, where Chance was once the champion, and Fandom as well. And Wednesday is Sports Battlefield. For those 3 divisions, we need more hosts. We need more question writers. We need more editors so we can keep them going, especially with 2019 right around the corner. Thursday, it's apparently now been announced that Jake and Caleb have an upcoming show called the Co-Oscars. If you like Oscars, you'll probably like the show. If you're like me and you hate the Oscars for everything except red carpet fashion,
actually, if you hate the Oscars, you'll love the show because his picks are absolutely ridiculous.
That's the thing. If Caleb is on that show,
yeah, it's gonna be. Expect a lot of talk of the Pirates movies not winning Best Picture, even though they should.
or Cars not winning.
Cars not winning the animated categories. Fuck Coco, give me some Cars.
But if
or Beauty and the Beast not being nominated for original song.
But if you don't want to watch that show on Thursday, you have an alternative in Crisis on Earthplex. That is our Arrowverse discussion show hosted by me and the Arrowverse champion, Zadie Seaman Smith. The Elseworlds crossover is just 1 week away, so yeah, we're getting into some awesome discussion topics pretty soon. And as the Arrowverse goes on its eventual hiatus, we're going to branch out into other shows like Marvel's Runaways and Young Justice Season 3, so that's going to be fun as well. Friday is Fandom Fight. We talked about it a lot tonight, and the championship week is this coming Friday, so stay tuned for that. Saturday, I don't know when it's coming back, but Nerdgasm is our debate show. I don't like debates. I'm probably not going to compete there anymore, so who cares? And then we wrap it all up in a nice little bow every Sunday here on Around the League with Nico. And finally, of course, the John Regoli Memorial Trivia-thon for Thon, January 21st to January 27th. Matches between here at Multiplex over in Full Metal. Jukebox Trivia, I'm making my long-awaited return there, and Combat Zone Wrestling Trivia as well. Henry Sanchez, I want to compete on Confidential Cinema for that week as well, so hook me up with an opponent if possible. But yeah, donate to the Four Diamonds Association for Children's Pediatric Cancer Research once I get that link up, once the week begins. Until then, follow the Facebook event page and my Twitter for more information as that event gets more matches. But that was Tim Brzakala. That was Kees Cornelisse. That was Chance Ellison. I'm over here. And this has been Around the League. Thank you for sticking around.